IF to everybody. It's been an interesting week. This is going to be your wrap up and your look ahead. And there's a lot of things to talk about. And I really want to talk about what happened in the financial stocks, which have really been the leader. They've really led the way. They've held up better during any type of market correction, overall correction in the S&Ps. So I talked about what Jamie Dimon talked about him liquidating 1 million shares. Anyway, this was a three drive to a top formation in the XLF. Here's one, here's two, here's three. I talked about it up here, but I really featured JP Morgan because there was a story out that Jamie was selling a lot of his stock. Now, people explained to me that, that's done on an automatic basis. There's no market timing involved in it. Well, then let's just say that Jamie, whoever scheduled his distributions, must be charting, or it really was a lucky day for Jamie Dimon. Look at this. Okay. So the same type of formation, a little more extreme, but we did not take out this high on JP Morgan. Could we bounce back? Of course, but just another example of three drive working out in the financials. This is something that's going to be important. If the market starts making new highs and S&P's, NASDAQ strong, I'm expecting follow through into maybe NVIDIA earnings next week. But if the financials, the bank stocks can't make new highs, and that's with yields coming off and a weaker dollar, then maybe we're talking about some kind of credit problems that might be popping up. In fact, um, I think it was a rumor that there was some type of failure in a major bank in Japan. I haven't heard anything else about it. There was a resignation of the CEO. So keep your eyes on the banks right now, because if we are going to have a problem, there could be some type of credit issue that pops up, and this is the first sign of it, because for the most part, the rest of the market was up for the week, but this is a kind of a very ugly weekly signal in J.P. Morgan and the rest of the banks. I know they had to see what kind of huge run they had. So even a correction could take this back to 220, 240, 220. So I wanted to start off with that. I also want to cover something that you should keep an eye on now. Walmart came out. I know I sound like a stock jockey right now, but Walmart came out with expecting slower sales next year. And here's the weekly on the XRT. This is a retail index. And we had what looked to be a breakout, right? And we've been trying to hold the 78 level. I'll bring it down a little bit. That could be a pretty important breakdown that could take it down to 70, and under 70, we have a recession, okay? Because most of our economy is, and look at this, just a big failing rally. Retail hasn't made new highs since, when's this? 2021. This is not a good looking month. Let's break it down to a daily so you could see it. So, a lot of people have levels where they just draw a line and that's it. But, there's levels could be more of a mattress. That's why I call it a mattress, because there's some give between the levels, right? So, like here, we closed beneath it, but it was only one day, right? It didn't close underneath it yet. We haven't, this would be our second day to close underneath it. And we take out the 200-day, that opens the door. So keep an eye on retail. And now I'll get back to my wheelhouse, which are currencies. So one more thing I want to mention, I'm not uh, shorting NVIDIA, but even though I think the market has further to run, this is a trade that I may be taking next week. It's my contention that this was a five-wave decline. Unlike NVIDIA, which when it bottomed last week, this could have been just an ABC for four, and we could have new highs. So I believe there's a possibility that even if the market blows off, that I'm going to try and I'm going to be buying some puts at the 78.6 level, which is about another $5 from where we are here. Get out on two closes over 260. That's where I'm wrong. I could always recommit if we make new highs and diverge, but I've been waiting for this. I'm considering this a corrective move in Apple from this huge decline, close to 15%, almost 20%. So I'll be trying this up around the 250 level. So now let's get to currencies. So I think I talked about it early in the week. I said I wanted to see it close over 105. That was yesterday, and we didn't get it. So we're in pullback mode. I think part of it is going to be is because of the German elections. I'm not sure what people are looking for. They're probably going to see how strong the showing is for the far right party. Uh, Maybe that's going to put some pressure on euro for a while. I do want to say this that if you follow my RSI work, um, we have diverged in the dollar down here when the RSI pops up here in a second. Okay, so here we had this low in the Dixie, and it was a confirmed low. So let me just pop out of this and into another one, see if it works. Go back to Dixie. Okay, so I'm waiting for the RSI. I don't see it here. There it is. Okay, hi RSI. So you can see down here, you had RSI reading of 26, and both price and Mo confirmed here, right? So you could use RSI to not only look for reversals in trends, but confirmation of trends. So when price and momentum confirm, you sell the next rally because the probability of this being an important low with this kind of momentum is not that high. So we had the rally, now we have a new low. Here's your first higher RSI reading on the 4-hour chart. So it's not a reversal to go long the dollar, but it is a warning now that momentum to the downside is waning. And I consider this being take profits, your first divergence at a low and your first divergence at a high. Markets most likely will still continue lower, but it's time. The market's warning the downside is losing momentum. I'm still looking for 105, 104 and a half in the coming weeks. Maybe that'll set up a 3 after some kind of rally here. Anyway, it was a take profits there. All right. The pound actually made a new high here. I was looking at a 3 drive. This trade didn't work, but here we are at new highs, and we are not confirming new highs up here. And I'm running slow, but the RSI did diverge. We could correct here in cable. And the one that I was stalking this week that did not give me an opportunity is the Aussie. And I'd be looking for the possibility over the next couple of weeks of maybe having an opportunity if we get through 330 um, to buy it at 2.5, which would be a 50% retracement of this move. Yen's getting a bounce, but the trend's still down. Lots of willing sellers in the yen up around this 151 level. Um, I still am not on this train that I caught from here to here, and this jiggle threw me off. So um, I don't see a reason to get long yen. 151 would be your first sign that it's trying to do something, but I'm talking 120 yen long term. So that's my view on that. So we can move on to gold. So I did a few trades in gold this week. The first one didn't work out. I thought it was going to be a retracement of this break. And when I was on, I said, if it makes a new high, I'm going to do it again. So it did. It made a new high, cleaned out the stops, had about a $20 decline from there. And then we had another new high and another break. And I think this is drive 2 if the metals are going to run one more time. but you can see we're now trading underneath the breakout line. But who knows what could happen over the weekend. Um, your first sign that there's a problem is going to be back under this 4 hour 29.15. Could open the door to 2,900 and then 28. So I think 28.20 or so is a possibility, even if this is a wave four. Silver, not making much hay out of this either. You know, it's acting tired to me. I know a lot of people want to buy it here at, 30 and a half. I think they're going to have a chance. We'll see what happens down there. It's still my contention, and market hasn't proved me wrong yet, hasn't made a new high like gold did. But still my contention that there's a possibility that before this correction is over, that we could be seeing 27 and a half in the silver. I know it sounds very aggressive. Take it a step at a time. And, going back to gold, don't forget my formula, okay? The three P's. Who remembers the three P's? You probe, and then you protect with your initial stop, then you take partials, and then you protect the remainder with BE stops or profit stops. So that's what happened here. And I still have a piece on, and I'd be willing to take a shot at new highs if it happened next week. And I really want to just point this out. If you're not perfect, if you're not leveraged, and you're not trying to be perfect, and you just looked at this huge move that gold has had, we're no longer confirming highs on the daily. Still lots of mo, but there's a divergence there. There's divergences on the 4 hour. So if you're not trying to be perfect, gold's not a bad time to think about selling gold. Maybe you replace it with silver, even if the gold silver ratio has another run to 94. I don't think it's going to do much better than that. We had an initial break here, but maybe we're going to get one more blast, and that's what's going to create the washout in silver. Yields are a tough one, 10-year, sitting right at a trend line. I'd say that the path of least resistance is still down here. This 434 level is important. Maybe we're going to see that in a hurry with maybe a melt up happening in S&Ps. So S&Ps have done nothing wrong. Oh, now they have. So we've already gotten a reversal from this new high. See, everything happens in a hurry. And perhaps this time we're not going to hold. So this time all we did was retrace, and maybe waiting till next week might be late, but let's see what's happening in some of these. Apple down. I'm still going to wait. Meta trying to recover. Goog really weak. And I was talking about these Mag 7s up here to be getting out of them. Microsoft trying to bottom. I said it'd be a great sale up here about 430, down here. It didn't look like it was going to do it. Now it looks like that's a possibility. And here's NVIDIA. I'm not going to do anything into earnings with that CEO. He's pretty good at dog and pony shows. And the wheat continues. We're getting a little pullback here, but I still really like the grains. If the dollar does bounce, these are pullbacks to buy in the grains. See what happens here at 580 in wheat. Corn led the whole thing. Maybe we're going to get some type of fib retracement. It's been one heck of a move from 380 to 580. And beans have been bringing up the rear. I don't think we're going to make a new low. This could be a great break to buy. And in fact, part of the bearish news is because of sanctions that China bought their beans from Brazil, a BRIC nation. So perhaps that's going to take it down. Weather related, there's some type of disease in the wheat crop. I forgot the name of it. And now you have the bearish news in beans with China. China will buy our beans if they're at the right price. Now, if we go tit for tat, yeah, they're going to go to the bricks. But I don't, it doesn't matter who buys it if we have supply issues, right? So I still believe this is a bottoming process in beans, and I still like them on the long side. So let's see what's happening. Some of the miners are giving it up a little bit. I think they're going to be a great buy. And I did want to talk about this, and I'll wrap with this. So this week and even last week, I was talking about starting to book profits in your miners and your GDX. And it's, that we could get at least a correction here. And think about this, say that we get a correction in gold and we get a risk off move in equities. You're going to have the price of gold not helping and pressure on the miners from just a move of liquidation, maybe some margin calls. You sell what you have in that type of environment. So that wouldn't help the miners either. But what would help is if you come and join us and bring your work and ask good questions. And there's no such thing as a dumb question, okay? A silly question. It's silly not to ask because that's how you learn. So Mike and I welcome you into TradeGATEHub.com. It's free, sponsored by TradeView. Come and trade with us if you're a stock trader. Uh, Learn to follow option flow like Mike does, gives you all the important sweeps, and there'll be nice market tells for you to do there. So that's a wrap for me, everyone. Have a great weekend. Get ready. Things aren't going to slow down. It's not going to be a slow march. I'm expecting a wild march. And most of all, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Adios. Good hunting the rest of the day, and see you next week.